What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
No! I don't want to die!
Some were still clinging to life, straining for the heavens in vain, but their lives were all but finished. They couldn't be saved by healing medicine or magic. Their fates were sealed the instant they crossed Testarossa.
I think this was a waste.
Ultima murmured.
I'm sure I could have had them singing sweet hymns to me in no time if they were this good.
Stop being so selfish. Look. They've come out to say hello.
Testarossa pointed to the flagship's bow. There they beheld the Empire's uppermost echelons, Emperor Rudra and the still sleeping Velgrynd. Kondo and Damrata stood at their sides, with 4 men and a lady standing behind Rudra and another, more mature-looking man standing next to Kondo.
A greeting from the Emperor himself.
Benimaru declared confidently.
What an honor.
The Emperor remained motionless. Rudra stopped Kondo and Damrata as they were ready to take a stride forward.
Leave them alone. Why not confront it? I've been accumulating pawns for nearly 2,000 years, and this is all I have left. If you are coming on behalf of the Demon Lord Rimuru, I will let you speak to me directly.
Thanks.
So, what exactly is the purpose of this visit?
Well, it's really rather straightforward. I haven't been given complete authority, but I'm presenting you with our demands in place of Sir Rimuru. You must immediately cease all hostilities and unconditionally surrender to us. If you accept, we will no longer pursue you.
And what if I refuse?
I have been given the order to destroy you by Sir Rimuru if you refuse. It will be a fight to the death until only one side remains. We're not allowed to die.
Benimaru added inwardly, but it wasn't reflected in his pompous demeanor. It's no surprise that the Imperials were enraged by this response.
How dare you?
Marco was the first to speak.
You're a little worm that doesn't know his place, so you may act arrogantly like that. A fool who has no idea what lies beyond the highest peaks!
One of the 4 knights, holding a spear, looked down at Benimaru. Of course, he heard him, but Benimaru's gaze remained fixed on Rudra, uninterested in talking with the knight. The rest stayed silent. It was Rudra's decision, and because Rudra had permitted the opposing side to confront him directly, they felt it would be inappropriate to speak.
It's quite absurd, isn't it? I wouldn't dare to let my greatest ambitions end here.
Then you die.
Benimaru had matured into a more thoughtful and patient man, but his actual essence remained that of a rampaging god-ogre. He never saw the value of lengthy negotiations when a small amount of force could quickly resolve the issue, and, furthermore, Rimuru had ordered him to kill all their opponents, so there was no reason to retreat. The tension was sky-high, and in the middle of it all, one side made a move. The atmosphere was explosive. Velgrynd, who had been sleeping the entire time, opened her eyes and shot up.
Rudra.
What? What's the matter with you?
Velgrynd took a look around, recognizing what was going on. Despite this, she ignored Benimaru and his group, feeling that her business was far more important.
The Demon Lord Rimuru has taken away my replication. I intended to bring my powers back to this body as it would take some time to breach the barrier.
Rimuru or Seal had sealed Velgrynd within insulated imprisonment at this very moment. Velgrynd thought she had time, but with Benimaru and the 3 demonesses in front of her, she felt endangered.
Sir Rimuru strikes again. We'll have to follow in his footsteps.
Shion was completely overjoyed.
It appears he is currently focused on Sir Veldora, and I am confident he will bring him back soon.
Soe gave a nod. He was always careful to delegate a replication to ensure Rimuru's safety. That was how he worked.
He seems to have more than held his own while battling both Lady Velgrynd and Sir Veldora at the same time. Truly excellent.
It certainly is. To be honest, I wasn't expecting it to turn out this good.
You mentioned it. My lord's abilities are absolutely limitless.
Testarossa, Ultima, and Carrera all meant what they said. Knowing how powerful Velgrynd was, they were really taken aback.
What a blunder. I knew I shouldn't have let Diablo's sweet-talking fool me.
This is really true. He knew it was coming, and he intended to be the only one who could witness it, the bastard.
Being labeled a bastard was high praise for a demon. Shion, on the other hand, vowed to rake Diablo over the coals afterward. Soe, who was also watching the battle, stayed cool. Benimaru softly averted his gaze. He, too, was witnessing Rimuru's fight through moss. Meanwhile, the Imperial side was raging.
No. Has he got that much power?
Emperor Rudra, a cool-headed man who seldom exhibited emotion, jumped up and yelled. Based on what Kondo had said about him, he clearly thought highly of Rimuru, but there was no denying that he had misjudged him. He couldn't picture him as a threat on par with Veldora, and now he realized he was incorrect. Kondo, too, realized his error. He fully noticed the warning sign when he saw his attacks fail on him, but even so, he hadn't taken nearly as much action as he should have.
Whatever happens, I will safeguard His Majesty's body.
As he stood there, he silently vowed to do so. Damrata, on the other hand, had long suspected that the demon lord Rimuru posed a threat. It wasn't a question of logic. Even after all his plotting, a guy as cunning as Yuki found it hard to exploit him. That alone demonstrated he was a formidable foe who could not be ignored. Rimuru seemed unique from everyone else because of something about him. He was like Yuki in that he had this enigmatic charisma. Damrata was drawn to people like that because of the intriguing possibilities they offered. He'd made a faraway promise to Emperor Rudra, and now he was unsure whether or not to keep it. That was why he now trusted others with his fate rather than himself. It goes without saying that individuals like Yuki and Rimuru were those with that particular something, someone deserving of being trusted with his fate. In his wrath, Rimuru had clearly lost all sense. Damrata was anxious because he sensed something horrible was about to happen. As Rudra stated on the bridge, the strongest forces of the Empire have gathered here. There was no trace of Gladium or his army, but they couldn't fairly expect any more reinforcements. They had fallen short of overwhelming Rimuru's forces. The current circumstance demonstrated that the Demon Lord was not to be underestimated. Damrata stood on guard, his nerves frayed, ready to defend the Emperor at any moment. The other knights and Marco were also struggling to keep their cool, so taken aback by the circumstances. Even for people as powerful as them, Velgryn's ultimate might was difficult to comprehend, and now Velgrynd had all but confessed that Rimuru was equal to her. It'd be impossible not to be bothered by that. As a result, both sides were astonished and surprised in different ways. Velgrynd was the first to break the stillness.
So it's a showdown? Okay, then. We'll vanquish them and use them as bargaining chips to get the Demon Lord Rimuru to agree to our terms. Is that okay with you?
That's excellent. All of you, demonstrate your abilities to me.
Yes, Your Majesty!
The Imperial Knight's anxiety subsided as soon as Rudra made the choice. His voice was powerful, the kind that put these stalwart warriors at ease.
Yes. Victory is assured, I promise you.
Velgrynd smiled fiercely, her lovely yet horrible countenance anticipating the horrors to come.
Are all of you okay with that?
Yeah, we must win this battle and eliminate these weeds before they create any more calamities.
All right. So, good luck.
Velgrynd extended her arms wide and raised them to the heavens. Then she opened what was referred to as the 8 impervious gates. Each of them materialized in midair, lined up in the center of the battlefield between both sides of the conflict, and shrank to the point where only one person could pass through them at a time.
This flagship,
Velgrynd stated,
is now trapped inside an alternate dimension of my own creation. If you wish to get away, you must demolish all 8 of these gates.
There were 8 Imperials remaining on the airship, excluding Rudra. This meant that they each had a gate to defend.
What if we all go through the same gate?
What a ridiculous thing to say. You are free to try, but once within a gate, only the person who destroys its guardian is permitted to enter the next.
If she was telling the truth, that meant that if everyone crowded into one gate, just a single individual would be left to challenge the next. They needed to break through all 8 for their escape, so that was a dangerous option.
I see. So it would be prudent for all of us to charge into the final remaining gate instead.
Very good. You're quite intelligent, aren't you? That would be the proper course of action if you were intending to challenge the gate that I will guard.
Benimaru's suggestion made Velgrynd smile. She must have assumed he'd come to that conclusion. But, as sure as she was of her prospects, she saw no problem with disclosing everything right away.
Of course, because I've already set up this dimension with these predetermined conditions, I can keep it running at a very low magical cost. You can't go away or touch Rudra unless you break through all the gates. Or did you prefer to go all out here? I'm fine either way.
The defenders are at a disadvantage due to the 8 impervious gates. Because they knew who would be guarding each gate, there was a chance that the raiders would organize their approach ahead of time, devising countermeasures for each guardian. But if they went all-out battle instead, even Rudra may be in danger, which Velgrynd desperately wished to avoid. Furthermore, Velgrynd was willing to bear a minor disadvantage in order to keep Rimuru's army banished in an alternate dimension while they fought.
All right, we will take up your challenge.
Benimaru didn't waste any time in responding. Velgrynd was now certain of her win after hearing him.
There is no way out of this dimension until I somehow lose. There is simply no way we can lose.
Velgrynd felt confident she could defeat the enemies even if they all charged her at the same time. That's why she chose these gates, believing that was the safest plan for them. Benimaru fully understood her aims, but there was no way to avoid conflict with Velgrynd here, so he chose the course that would give them the best chance of victory. So, with both parties in agreement, the location of the final fight was determined. The Imperials vanished into the gates before Benimaru and his men. The last one standing, Velgrynd, exchanged a gentle embrace with Rudra before passing through her gate. The gates then began to move gently, encircling Benimaru and the others. But it's not as if they didn't know who passed through which gate. Only an idiot would miss that.
It's such a cowardly act, isn't it? We can't see who's guarding what because they're arranged this way.
Shion was exactly that kind of moron.
We're okay. I recall them. You weren't paying attention, were you?
Benimaru pondered. He began to comprehend the anguish she caused Diablo.
What a delightful diversion. If you win, I will give you the honor of battling me afterward.
As he spoke, Rudra relaxed in his comfy seat, safe from the laws of this other reality. He never had any doubts about Velgrynd's win. According to his demeanor, he regarded this combat as nothing more than light entertainment.
Will we have to wait and see? In battle, you never know what will happen, but we're going to show you that there are some things we'll never give up on.
Benimaru looked around at his companions, attempting to determine who should be in charge of whom. However, one person was unable to wait for his choice. Shion was the one.
Well, I believe I've put up with things for far too long. I've had it.
Whoa, hey.
Sir Rimuru told us to kill our adversary down to the last person. What is there to be concerned about? Let's just get these out of the way.
Have you ever been concerned about anything in your life?
Benimaru almost spoke up. He couldn't have his men acting like this, but Shion kicked through the entrance to a gate and stepped inside before he could stop her.
Well, whatever. I'm not sure if she planned to do it or not, but I'd say she chose the ideal opponent for herself.
Shion, despite her less than ideal ways, had an uncanny ability to achieve optimal results. Even though she wasn't exactly on her best behavior that day, she chose the door that corresponded to Benimaru's intentions. This left 7 more doors open. One held Velgrynd, and they'd be tackling it last. So, who should be dealing with whom?
If I could.
Veyron began.
What?
Ultima responded with a somewhat tense tone in her voice.
To be honest, I haven't settled my score with Marco yet. I think I would definitely prevail over him the way I am right now.
New episode. In solo leveling, Jinwoo makes a bold move, unleashing his true power and uncovering a deep mystery. Don't miss the action in episode 24. Tune in now.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Chad Vota, Chris Guzman, Havox, Speed Saber, James Waters, Arijit Das, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Miss L.W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rossan, Jerry Sladek, Stone Larone, Alfonso Smith, Donald Williams, Moab A, Day of Light, John M, John Charles, Godman Gaming, Akon Engok, Markithian Tidwell, Andre L. Hamilton, Adrian, Kumo, Sanketh Chelu, T. Bush, John L., Edgar Fuentes, JV, Dirty Old Hobo, Gonse Direco, Thomas, J., Christ, Juan Ignacio, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Vethelny, Lunel Scarlett, Khaled, Christian Deshazer, Cal Robs, Divine C. Harris, Panda Cats, Aaron Alarcon, DeAndre Nance, Monty Boy 98, D-Man, Ruben, Luis Caro, Yuki Iki, Pedro Robles, Chris Jr., Isaac, Koala King 93, Paul DeGrassi, Little 95, Coyote de Peza, Quilly Buckner, Zephyras, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, Jaya Keshav, L, Gary Miles, Nobody 0034, Dragon Spawn 666, J Rule, Sayonori, Alfredo Renteria, Liel Tiram, Liron Sangkap, Eric Tass, Christopher Mash, Ekotski, Foolish Prophets, Ethan Madison, Louis Strutter, Charles Bailey, Sky T, Diego Ginoza, Nick H, Andre Hamilton, Jason Torres, Sesh, Guy Ansley, Simon Road, Emperor W. USA, Mika Espinosa, George Hage, Pratik Bandari, Arod Dare, Faiz Mansour, Deriha Skerte, Jackson Early, Smexy, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Tank Bailey, Gareth Hashimoto, Byron, Steven Madison, Homelike Drop, Nasir, Vasto Lord, Martin Ramos, Marl Barsha, Karen, Mark Charlie Els, Hansel Ortega, Yellow Wally, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Jordan Mersha, Bismarck Munoz, Orion Booker, Kamal Luke, Izat, Wei Jun, Alvin Quarty, Chris Kaalim, Shin Kaizan, Kyusing Sang. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.